You know, the refugee controversy and the continuing demonstration against it. One of several developments the president is facing as he finishes his first full week in office. You know, he's already fulfilled some of his campaign promises with those executive orders. But also some note he's been working with a dizzying speed on multiple fronts. What will this mean for the management of our nation going forward? Kevin Sheridan's former senior advisor for Romney Ryan 2012 and communications director for Paul Ryan when he ran for vice president. Marjorie Clifton, former consultant to the Obama campaign and the principal of Clifton Consulting. Kevin and Marjorie, welcome. Marjorie, let me start with you. I mean, this whole week, it's been a breakneck, some say pretty frenetic pace. You got 15 executive orders. He's working through the weekend, not to mention the tweets. Can Washington adjust?
Well, the Republican Party hasn't adjusted, and that's a real challenge for them because this is the first opportunity since 1920 that they've had the opportunity to meaningfully move legislation along in Congress. And instead of focusing on things like tax reform, which was one of sort of the focal points that they had going into this Congress, they've been in rapid response mode. And, you know, we're seeing protests and issues around the refugees already popping up around the country. We had the cancellation of the Mexican president's visit. And so we're seeing a lot of strain, frankly, across the aisle. And I would say the only unifying point at this part is we've got both Republicans and Democrats a little bit baffled at what to tackle first and how to respond.
Kevin, are the Republicans baffled?
Not at all. The Republican Party is unified, and this is what disruptive change looks like. This is what the American people just voted for. He's moving at a breakneck speed, like you said. He's already moved on the wall at the southern border, sanctuary cities, you name it. He's done 15 executive orders already. And he's you know, moving his agenda forward. Paul Ryan you talked about tax reform. Paul Ryan has said he wants to get tax reform done by the end of summer. So I think the Congress is unified with the president, and I think they're finding real agreement on a shared agenda. And I think you're going to see real results. And this is just 7 days of it. Imagine, you know, another 6 months, 4 years of this. It's real change.
I mean, it's coming down the pike so fast and furious. I mean, look what the Wall Street Journal basically wrote about the first week of the Trump presidency, saying, quote, all new presidents naturally become the focus of attention, but Mr. Trump is dominating his new universe more than most because of his propensity to spin off his own personal views and messages. Already, he has trampled on the planned script for his opening days with off-the-cuff remarks and tweets, and he has upended his own schedule. The upshot is that neither his top aides nor his potential congressional allies know what he might do next. I mean, Marjorie, you think that's really fair? And how does, you know, the country adjust to this?
Well, and that's one of the things I'm hearing from a lot of Republican and Democratic staffers, but predominantly Republicans who came in ready to go. And I think, look, the challenge here is how do we respond to a lot of these things? So, for example, one of the things he talked about is let's beef up the military. We're going to fight ISIS. And as a lot of his military and I should say national security staff and others have been highlighting with him is the war on ISIS isn't as simple as refugee policies. And that's where you're seeing a lot of immediate pushback. This has implications on the workforce, frankly, on a lot of the pro-business community. You know, how do we manage when you're upending a lot of our workforce, when you're messing with trade deals that greatly impact the cost of our goods? And so, again, I think the pushback is actually very universal. How do we respond? You know, it's like trying to have a crystal ball to predict what Trump is going to do next. And as you're seeing evidenced in sort of a wait and see, we don't even know this 15th executive order that he's pushed through today. We don't really know what is to come with that either. So I think everybody's a little bit in waiting. Well,
we do know it has to do with national security, one of them, but also has to do with rolling back and having that 5-year ban on lobbying by top officials, which really would, man, oh man, talk about hitting Washington where it hurts, Kevin. I mean, when you're dealing with that revolving door. I mean, but Marjorie does have a point. We've had pushback, those massive demonstrations last week, some of the largest demonstrations perhaps in the history of our nation. We see the demonstration today live at JFK Airport over that refugee policy and some of the pushback. How does he address it? How does he explain it to the nation? And how does he incorporate that as we move forward with his policies?
Look, Donald Trump is going to be measured on results, and there's another election in 2 years and another one 2 years after that if he doesn't get them. And he does things in an unconventional way. He always has. And I think the left would do well to try to adjust to it rather than lose their mind. The media, too, has lost its collective mind over this unconventional way that he's doing business. And they're just going to have to adjust because results are coming. They're already happening. He's moving fast, and they're going to have to just try to figure out how to keep up.
Marjorie, last word. Have you lost your mind?
No, I feel just fine. I think we're just wondering what is on Donald Trump's mind at this point. So I think a key part of good leadership is the ability to listen and also understand the consequences, broad consequences, of things like international policy. So I think one of the concerns is he listening to the very smart advisors he's had, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, who have longstanding experience on the ripple effects of things like, for example, trying to put an embassy in the middle of Jerusalem versus Tel Aviv. Some of these things that may seem subtle but are very nuanced and have great impact. So we all pray that he makes smart decisions. It impacts us all. We want to see every president succeed. So I think the question is, does he have a listening ear, and does he understand the impacts of the things that he's doing?
All right, Marjorie and Kevin, thank you so much. It is a very busy weekend. We have not been kind of used to that. It's usually been quiet because President Obama would go off and play golf at Andrews Air Force Base. Not a criticism of him, but he would do that most Saturdays, and this is a very busy Saturday to start off this new administration. Thank you.